dear students. In the last session, we were discussing about the pathophysiological changes, what is happening in thalassemia, and what are the influence of this disease in various parts of the body. So we can summarize the effects of thalassemia major in various body parts, organs or system. Like first one is bone marrow. How it affects the bone marrow is it is resulting in overstimulation of bone marrow. So there will be some different parts of bone marrow. Bone is affected and it includes changes in the facial mandibular growth, increased facial mandibular growth. The skin will be bronze colored and it is because of hemosidrosis and also some influence of jaundice. Next is the spleen, that is splenomegaly will be there, and liver and gallbladder cirrhosis and some amount of hepatomegaly also can be expected, cholelithiasis. So these are the changes in the liver and gallbladder. Pancreas, there will be destruction of islet cells and diabetes mellitus can be the heart. There will be failure from the circulatory overload, CCF can be present. So these are the effects of thalassemia major on different body parts. So we can see the clinical manifestations of the disease. Usually the child may not be diagnosing till it increases or till he or she increases his or her physical activity. So initially the child will be presenting the manifestations of anemia, that is before diagnosis. So the manifestations like pallor, unexplained fever, poor feeding, enlarged spleen, hepatomegaly, these all will be present during the before diagnosis stage of thalassemia. So after seeing these all manifestations, we will be sending the child for the hospital for any investigations usually. So if there is progressive anemia, the anemia is continued without any management or interventions, there will be signs of chronic hypoxia, frequent headaches can be seen, bone pain because of the increased functioning of bone marrow, then decreased exercise tolerance can be there, listlessness and tiredness can be seen, and anorexia can be seen. So these are the manifestations with progressive anemia. So very typically some special features also can be seen, like small stature or short stature. The child will be small comparing to their age, children. Then delayed sexual maturation, like menarche achievement will be delayed in females, and male also the sexual maturation will be delayed. Then the color of the skin, it will be bronzed, freckled complexion can be seen. Child will be usually with a darker complexion. Next is very typical of thalassemia. Some bone changes can also be seen in a child with thalassemia. So it includes enlarged head. That is because of increased bone marrow functioning. The head size will be large. Prominent frontal and parietal bosses can be seen. Prominent malar eminences. Then flat or depressed bridge of nose. Enlarged maxilla, protrusion of lip and upper central incisors, and eventual malocclusion of the teeth. The teeth will not be in a line. Generalized skeletal osteoporosis and increased chance of getting fracture and other deformities in the bones. So these all bone changes are very typical of thalassemia, and these all are because of increased bone marrow functioning to produce more amount of RBCs. So these all bone changes will result in the characteristic appearance of a child with thalassemia, that is thalassemic facies or hemolytic facies. So this appearance is because of the hemolytic feature of the thalassemia. So the child's look will be like a facial appearance is characteristic with frontal bossing, prominent maxilla, that is exposing the teeth. The child may not be able to close the mouth properly, depressed bridge of nose and malocclusion of teeth. So this all together we name as thalassemic facies, and appearance of the child will be looking like this picture. You can see properly. Next we can see the diagnostic investigation. Usually the diagnosis is based on the physical manifestations of anemia and other findings of bone marrow increased functioning, and also we can have a detailed history collection regarding the carrier status of this family on thalassemia. And very importantly, we have to go with the blood findings. The findings of hemosiderosis can be done with the increased amount of iron in blood, and also the iron storage in different body parts. Then blood picture shows microcytic hypochromic anemia. Then we can go with blood smear, and also low hemoglobin and hematocrit level are seen in severe anemia. Then hemoglobin electrophoresis helps to confirm the diagnosis, and also there will be some characteristic radiological findings that includes the thinning of cortex and the widening of the medulla, that is due to bone marrow hyperplasia. So these all are the some of the diagnostic investigations which can be seen with thalassemia. And in the radiology of the skull, that is skull X-ray, will be showing a typical feature of thalassemia, that is hair on end sign. So you can see the appearance of this arrow mark can be noticed. So vertical striations can be seen, vertical striations like hair can be seen in the outer table of the skull. That is because of the atrophy of the skull, because of the increased functioning of the bone marrow. This is appearance is known as hair on end sign. So the both pictures we can see the skull is becoming atrophied, and there will be striations can be seen, and it is a appearance of the skull X-ray. This is known as hair on end sign. So next we can see regarding the treatment of thalassemia. So main objectives of treatment are to maintain sufficient hemoglobin levels to prevent bone marrow expansion and the resulting bony deformities. Because very importantly we have to understand that once the bone deformities are occurred, it is very difficult to reverse. So we have to prevent the bone marrow expansion. That is a very important one objective. The second objective is to provide sufficient RBCs to support normal growth and normal physical activity of the child. So these are the treatment objectives. First is to prevent the complications of bone marrow expansion. The second is sufficiently we are to support with the RBC hemoglobin levels. So there is no cure for thalassemia major, that we have to understand. But care, the treatment involves 5 major areas. Supportive blood transfusion can be done to maintain the hemoglobin value, RBC levels. The second is to splenectomy, that is to prevent the extra hemolysis. The chelation therapy is the treatment option for hemosiderosis. Then cardiac complication can be managed properly by proper support, and CCF management can be done. Bone marrow transplantation is a very good treatment option for thalassemia. Then folic acid and other vitamin supplements can be given, and also gene therapy is also on trials. So these are the treatment options. It's written 5, but gene therapy I included, and folic acid supplementation. These are the some more additions: blood transfusion, splenectomy, chelation therapy, and cardiac complication prevention, and the bone marrow transplantation. These are the main 5 areas, and other 2 options are also included to support the child. So the complications are congestive cardiac failure, hepatic failure, growth retardation, delayed sexual maturation. So these are the complications, and already we have discussed these all points in between the session. So the nursing management, the objectives of nursing care is to promote compliance with the transfusion and chelation therapy, because the child may need repeated blood transfusion to keep the blood values like hemoglobin and RBC levels in normal level. So we have to educate them for keeping the compliance with the transfusion and chelation therapy. The nurse should review the child's medical history, pre-transfusion administration of antipyretics and antihistamines, and this also can be suggested. Assist the child in coping with the anxiety-provoking treatments, because they will have more anxiety when they are dealing with repeated blood transfusions and blood examinations and other painful procedures. Observe the multiple complications of blood transfusion, like even with each blood transfusion there should be notice for complications. Then post-operatively, especially when we are going with the splenectomy, the same care is provided as any abdominal surgery, and attention should be on fluid and electrolyte balance and prevention of wound infection, prevention of pneumonia, and in that cases oral penicillin prophylaxis or immunization with pneumococcal vaccine also may be recommended. So these are the nursing management which is required for thalassemia, and I hope all of you understood the session and prepare your own notes. And after this particular completing all the sessions, kindly upload the assignment note in the assignment column which is given in the Google Classroom. Thank you all. Thank you for your kind listening. Thank you very much.